Hi, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and today I'm going to show you how I made this pumpkin hanger with florals in it that says, "With God, all things are possible." So what I have is my orange Waverly chalk paint, and I did add water to it because it's almost empty. And it's a pumpkin color. And then I'm just going to take my sponge dauber, and I'm gonna paint all over the front and the back of both of these pumpkins. And these are those pumpkins that you get, I think, 8 in a package from the Dollar Tree. I got these several years ago. Gosh, back when they were $1, I ordered them online and got a case of them. You know, the different shapes, the acorns, the leaves, the pumpkins, the little animals, the cups of coffee, all that. So I still have a ton of them left. So I thought, what better way to use up my pumpkins than like this? And this is also going to be the Lady Circle craft for November. And I do have 3 of the tumbling tower blocks, if I could get those in view. There you go. And I'm going to paint the fronts and backs and ends, but I'm not going to paint the sides, because that's where I'm going to glue them onto my pumpkins. And I'm just going to take my heat gun because I want my paint to hurry up and dry so I can move on to the next step. And I'm going to dry the paint. Of course, you know, if you're just doing this for yourself, you're not making a video or anything, you can just let your paint air dry. And I think I totally forgot to edit this video before I'm doing the voiceover, so we'll see how it is. I can't believe I did that. I guess I could stop the video and go ahead and edit and then start over, but hey, why do all that when I can just continue on? I'm being lazy. Okay, now that I have that side dry, I'm going to flip it over and put my paint on the back side. And I kind of like the foam pouncer to put the paint on like this because I think it covers more area than a brush does. And that way I only have to do one coat. And like I said, I did add water to my paint because it was down to the last drops, basically. Now I'm just turning my tumbling tower blocks over and painting the back side of those. And this is a part I would normally cut out of my video, but since I didn't do any editing, I guess it's going to stay in. So I'm just gathering up the paint that's in the lid left over and taking my sponge dauber and putting it back in my container, because waste not, want not, right? And now I'm going to take my brown nutmeg apple barrel paint, and I'm going to paint the stems. Now I believe I did take my heat gun and dry these pieces before I put the brown paint on my stems. I just didn't show that part of it. Now, if you didn't want to do the stems brown, you could do them green. I kind of like mine brown. And then I'm just going to dry those with my heat gun. And this is just a heat gun I think I got from Harbor Freight or something like that. And I just use, there's two settings, a high and a low, and I just use the low setting. And then I flip those over and I do the stems on the back side. And I think I like decorating for fall best of all with my crafts. It just seems like there's so much you can do, like pumpkins and leaves and little animals and just spice, you know, coffee and, you know, all that. And again, I'm just taking my heat gun on the lower setting and I am drying my stems. But yeah, we're going to have Thanksgiving at our house this year, so I can't wait to decorate the house with all my fall items. Can you believe school started yesterday for some of the kids in Texas, and some of them start tomorrow? So I have a granddaughter that started school yesterday, and I have one that is starting school tomorrow. Now I'm just going to take my wood glue from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put it on the sides of my tumbling tower blocks there. And I'm just going to put one on each side of my pumpkin. I did go through and decide which side of my pumpkin I wanted to be the front, the one I thought looked best. And now I want to put this third one at the bottom. Had a little extra orange paint there, so I just wiped that off. And I'm going to put my glue on the top parts of my tumbling tower blocks. Once I get the glue on the top of my blocks there, I'm going to add my top pumpkin. And I want to line it up so that it's even with the bottom pumpkin. And then I just set it down on my table there to make sure both pieces were even at the bottom. And then I just laid something heavy on it, so I thought my heat gun would be heavy enough, and let it dry. So I have some homemade Mod Podge here. I used 2 cups of Elmer School glue or all-purpose glue and a 1/4 cup of water. And you just mix it together. If you think it's too runny, add more glue. If you think it's too thick, add more water to it. And I'm just going to take my sponge dauber and add it to the top of my top pumpkin. And this Mod Podge, when you make it this way, is the matte Mod Podge. It is not shiny. And I went ahead and put it on the stem. So I put it on that whole top pumpkin. So this is my graphic. I got it on Canva probably a year or two ago, and it's no longer available, unfortunately. But they do have others that say, with God, all things are possible. It just doesn't look like this one. But I did do a print and cut with my printer. And I actually just cut them out by hand instead of using my Cricut. And then I just go ahead and put my Mod Podge all over the top of my pumpkin and my graphic. Now this graphic did dry overnight. And again, I'm going to take my heat gun and dry it a little bit more instead of waiting for it to dry by itself. Since I am doing the video, if I wasn't doing the video, I would just let it dry by itself. So there it is so far. I know it's upside down for you. And I just have this piece of foam. It is foam that was in some kind of packaging or whatever. And I cut it down to size, and I'm going to put it in on the inside between my pumpkins there. So that's what it looks like. And then I have my little pokey tool. I'm just going down in the foam, pushing it down towards the bottom. And I have my florals. Now, most of the florals that I'm using, I did get from Hobby Lobby at one point in time after the fall was over, and they were 90% off. So I just have several different pieces that I'm going to use for this. And I think this ends up taking the most time, really. And I'm not a floral arranger, so, you know, it might not look the best that it should, but I think it turned out okay. So I'm just kind of prepping my pieces there. I don't want them too long. And I think I end up putting like 10 different floral pieces in my little pumpkin there. There's some little berries. Everything's going to be like orange and reds and yellows. Got a little bit of tan there and some greens. So that's 7 pieces so far. Eight. That's a 9. 10. I keep searching. I'm searching all this floral that I have over there. So I'm going to start with 10. And I want to try to put the taller ones in first towards the back. Now, I start out doing it this way, but as you see later, I'm going to end up doing it another way. So I'm just poking my stems down in my foam. And the stem on this one just wasn't sturdy enough, so I poked a hole with my little pokey tool there and then put my stem down in the hole. So like I said, I started out like this, and then later I found a better way to do it, and you'll see that in a little while. So then I used one of the stems I had cut off from my wheat there to poke the holes down in the foam, and that worked a little bit better than my pokey tool. Seemed like each one of them I needed to poke a hole in the foam first. So I set that one aside. Now I'm going to try this other one. It wasn't liking the way that one was looking, so I cut that longer piece off of it. And then I cut a couple leaves off of the other stem, and then I cut this wheat down again. And then I have these leaves, which I think are, I love this one here. It was on a, it wasn't a stem, it was, oh my gosh, what do you call them? One of those big, long ones that you would like hang on your mantle or something like that. I think I got it from Michael's online or something like that. I don't even remember. But each section had 3 leaves on it. And so this white one, I'm just going to take a couple of the flowers from the bottom off. And the one with the 3 orange leaves, it doesn't have any metal in it. So it's going to be a little difficult to put it in this. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it in the foam, that's for sure. Well, unless I put a big enough hole. But you know, I'm going to try. I'm going to try it. Garland, that's what I was trying to think, I guess. Those 3 leaves came off a big long garland. So this is where I take the whole thing out. take it all apart, and this is where I say, you know what? I'm going to put my florals in the foam outside of the pumpkins and see how that goes. And I think this worked a whole lot better, because you can see what you're doing. A whole lot better than you could when it's down in between the pumpkins. So again, like I said, I'm not a flower arranger. I'm sure there are a lot of people that could do this a lot better than I did, but you know, I mean, I feel like it's okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. I don't mind it. I'm just going to put all my pieces back in the foam. And now let's see, I put another one of those in there, and then I go to my three leaf piece there. And since it doesn't have wire in it, I need to put it in an existing hole. So I made a hole with this piece of wire that was cut off from the wheat. And then I poked my stem down in there like I did the others that actually have wire in them. And then I put my piece down in my pumpkins, down in between my pumpkins. And you see my berries, they fell off, so I have to put those back on. And I thought I could stand it up, which you can, but it kind of leans to one side. And I didn't like that at all. I mean, if you like it, you can certainly make it a standing little container, whatever you want to call it. But the the packet of pumpkins that you get from Dollar Tree do come with some jute string. So I'm actually just going to make a hanger for it. So on the back pumpkin, I put my jute through the hole, and then I just tie it in a knot at the top, and that's going to be my hanger. And that's all there is to this. I think it turned out pretty good. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments. I really appreciate it when people give me feedback. And is it not true? With God, all things are possible. Is that not true? It really is. And God will never leave us. We may leave him, but he does not leave us. And here it is, hanging on my wall. Like I said, I think it turned out pretty good. And again, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section. And if you're not subscribed, please feel free to do so.